You ever feel like you've got the vision, the long-term dream? You know what you want your life to look like. Successful, disciplined, fulfilled, but then it's 2 a.m. and you're still stuck in the same loop. Scrolling, distracted, overthinking, and your routine's a mess. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not lazy and you're not broken. And what happens next might be the shift that finally sticks. Somebody I heard of, he's not a guru, not an influencer, not even really into self-help or self-betterment. He just got tired of feeling tired. Not in a dramatic way, just a kind of tired that comes from losing a slow fight with your own habits. He said one time, almost without thinking, that he decided to stop bringing his phone to bed. No life plan and no productivity video behind it. Just one small change. He plugged it in across the room. The first night felt weird, but the second night, he fell asleep faster. By the end of the week, something clicked. Because that one decision of charging his phone on the other side of the room gave him better sleep. Getting better sleep gave him more energy. And having more energy gave him just enough time to wake up earlier, breathe, stretch, maybe even sit in silence before the day started. And that one decision, it triggered a domino effect that he never saw coming. The reason most people fail to stick to a routine isn't because they're broken. It's because they build routines for the person they want to be, not the person they are today. It's like buying clothes 3 sizes too small, hoping you'll grow into them. That might work, but most of the time, you grow because the clothes you wear today make you feel comfortable and capable. The same thing goes for your routine. You don't really need an hour-long reflection session at 5 a.m. if your current self struggles to even wake up before 10. You need one win, one anchor habit, one shift that finally fits your life. It's kind of like anchor beings in Marvel. If you don't have that one anchor, the entire universe just destroys itself. So here's the part nobody talks about because it doesn't sound dramatic enough to sell. Month by month, he just tested one thing at a time. Not a routine, just a rule. 1 month, he tried no caffeine after 2 p.m. Another month, he went for a 10-minute walk every time he felt an afternoon crash. But the biggest shift, for the first 30 days, he stopped consuming anything first thing in the morning. No TikTok, no YouTube, no news, and no music. He said it felt like quitting sugar, caffeine, and drama all on the same day. It was just filled with silence, some stretching, sometimes prayer, sometimes nothing at all. At first, he said it felt wrong, like stepping out of a loud concert into silence. You suddenly realize how much noise you've gotten used to. That was his brain, and almost all of our brains. Constant input, zero reflection. But after a few days, he started craving the silence. Not because it was productive, but because for the first time in years, his mornings belonged to him. And honestly, the most peaceful mornings I've ever had were the ones where I pray Fajr and don't go back to bed, which is the Islamic morning prayer. I just stayed up, no noise, just stillness. That quiet time, it hits different when it feels like the rest of the world is asleep. But what he didn't expect was how uncomfortable peace can feel at first. The best routines aren't rigid schedules. They're invisible systems, quiet structures that reduce friction without making you feel restricted. Like how a great kitchen runs smoothly. Not because the chefs are superhuman, but because everything is designed to make movement effortless. Some of the most life-changing routines are just like that. They're not necessarily aesthetic. They're not Instagrammable. They're not even noticeable. But they give your brain fewer decisions to make. And in return, they give your soul more room to breathe. And this is where most people sabotage the exact thing they were waiting for. Someone told me this analogy that stuck. Most people treat self-improvement like a ladder. You're either climbing or you're falling. But routines, especially the good ones, they're more like staircases. Some steps are small, Some are steep, some are awkward and uneven. But the beauty of a staircase is, if you trip, you don't fall all the way back down. You just pause, regain balance, then keep going. That's what a solid routine does. It catches you when you slip. It holds space for the days when you can't show up at 100%. But then it hit him. Maybe he wasn't failing the routine. Maybe the routine was failing him. And right before we get to what changed, quick pause. If you want a space to grow with people on the same path, the Discord has been popping. The link is in the description. And if you want early access to uploads, unreleased content, and extra perks, you can join the YouTube membership too. So there's a reason you get more done on a day when your space is clean, or why it's easier to write in a quiet cafe than at your cluttered desk. Discipline is draining, but design is supportive. Studies show that we make about 35,000 decisions a day, and most of our willpower gets eaten up by small, repetitive choices. So if your environment is always tempting you to scroll, if your routine requires constant effort just to begin, you're not undisciplined, you're just exhausted. You don't need to be stronger, you just need to be smarter about what you automate. You know what it's like? It's like installing a railing next to your stairs. You don't think about it when you're strong, but the day your legs are shaking, it saves you. Here's where he almost gave up, until he noticed something that changed everything. One day, things went south for him. He woke up late, got hit with 2 deadline changes, didn't sleep well at all. The kind of day that used to wreck him. But this time, he didn't spiral, because his shoes were already by the door. His meals were prepped. His task list was already written from the night before. That day wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a breakdown either, because his past self had left him a backup plan. That's what routines really are. Compassion in advance. A lifeline from who you were to who you're trying to be. But this one shift, it made chaos feel survivable. He still slips sometimes, but now he doesn't spiral. Because when the floor of your life is built with care, you stop living in panic mode. You start waking up and realizing, hey, this actually feels manageable. He's not chasing the perfect day anymore. He's chasing sustainability. Habits that don't collapse when life gets hard. Maybe you're not 30 days away from changing your life. Maybe you're just 1% away. And if even 1% can shift your day, imagine what it can do to your future. But sometimes, even with the right systems, life still hits you sideways. Even if you've built the perfect routine, even if your systems are strong, nothing prepares you for the moment you realize the person you trusted the most was never who you thought they were. Which is what my last video goes over. It's raw, real, and it might hit closer than you'd like.